Greetings to all. I am Ramakrishna. Now I am dealing organizational behavior. The topic is the introduction to organizational behavior. First, we start with the definition of organizational behavior. Here, the organizational behavior is the study and application of knowledge about how people as individuals and as groups act within an organization. In simple words, it deals with an application of knowledge about how the people are acted in organizations and how they are acted in groups, how they are acted in individuals. For example, if you see the diagram, which is in left hand side of the slide, individual level, group level, and organizational level. It's these three levels how the people are reacting and behaving in at their individual level, group level, and organizational. That we study in our organizational behavior. It can be defined as the understanding, the prediction, and the management of human behavior. So what we study in OBS, we study the understanding of human behavior. We predict the behavior of the people and how they are responding to the management and organizational objectives. Organizational behavior provides a set of tools that allow first people to understand, analyze, and describe behavior in an organization. So we need to understand the people's behavior so that we can give them and tune them towards the organizational objective and analyze to increase the productivity level of the employees and to motivate them towards the organizational accomplishments and describe the behavior. If there is any change in behavior, it means that the behavior should be positive towards the organizational goals and objectives. And the other hand, the managers has to improve, enhance, and change work behavior so that the individuals, groups, and the whole organization can achieve the goals. Without the managerial roles or the manager's involvement, there is no improvement and there is an enhancement of the workers' behavior. Every time they have to monitor and control the employees in the organization as an individual side as well as in the groups so that we can easily achieve our organizational goals. Next, the fundamental aspects of organizational behavior. So here we have four fundamental aspects, that is people, structure, technology, and environment. We simply start with the people. So every organization run by the people and they make up the internal social system of the organization. The people consist of individuals and groups, as we already studied in the previous slide. The groups may be larger groups as well as small groups. It may formal or informal groups, official or unofficial groups. So actually these groups which are dynamic in nature. So in managing the people, the manager have to deal with the individual employees who are expected to perform the task or work allotted to them. Dyadic relationships such as superior subordinate relationships, groups who work as team and have the responsibility for getting the job done. People outside the organization system such as customers and government officials. So all these particular dealt with the managers. So if you want to handle these people, our organization should be more effective. As well as some of the latest changes in labor force that are the decline in work ethics, rising emphasis on leisure, self-expression, fulfillment, and personal growth, decline in automatic acceptance of authority, increase in desire for participation, autonomy, and control, very fast obsolescence of skills due to technical advancements, retraining or retrenchment of manual workers, increased concern for security due to downsizing and outsourcing the employees, renewed emphasis on money as a motivator. So these are all very important today because new labor force has emerged and management must change its leadership practices in each and every stage. That is the reason The people is the fundamental aspect of our OB. Second one is the structure. We know very well organizations are social systems. Organizations are social systems. In every organization, two types of social system exist. That is formal and another one is informal. The formal relationship of people in organization is called the structure. Different jobs required to accomplish the goals and objectives of the organizations. Different people perform these different jobs at different levels to fulfill organizational objectives. These people have to be related in some structural way so that their work can be effectively coordinated. These relationships create complex problems of cooperation, negotiation, and decision making for the managers. It is the toughest task in the structure. The organization structures are also changing with the passage of time. Nowadays, the recent trend is flatter and leaner organizations. So third one is the technology. Technology, what technology provides? Yes, the technology provides the resources with which people work and affects the task that they perform well. The type of technology used in the organization has a very significant influence on the working relationship among the individuals and the groups. The major benefit of the technology is that it allows people to do more work and that too in a better way. Next one is environment. Environment. No organization can exist in a vacuum. We know the organization have to operate within an internal or an external environment. An organization is a part of larger system that contains other elements such as the government, the family, the society, and other sister organizations. All of these elements mutually influence one another in a complex way. And the organizations are more influenced to larger extent by the external environment. Environment influences the attitude of people, thus the effect for which environment is the cause, and the environment also becomes a key element in the study of OB. Next concept is importance of OB. Why we study OB? First one, it builds better relationship by achieving organizations or social or people's objective. So without achieving the objectives or accomplishing the objectives, there is no use of maintaining good relationship among the individuals and the groups or else with the society. And second one is it covers a wide array of human resources like behavior, training and development, change management, leadership, teams, etc. We know very well the Infosys has to practice and they take the human resource as the main resource for the company, and they don't want to lose any of the human resources. If they are having leadership skills, if they can easily manage or they can motivate the team members, they will give a good patch to those particular persons. The reason is that here the employee behavior and motivating or leading the teams is a very important aspect. Second, next one is it brings coordination, which is the essence of management. We do very well. Without coordinating or without integrating with other people, it may be a lose of your organizational effort. So coordinating between the individuals, coordinating between the groups, which may affect more of your organization. It is an easy way if we are having good coordination among the people, among the groups, so that we can easily improve our organizational effectiveness. It improves goodwill of the organization. If all the people they are coordinated well and they are self-efficacy and they all work for the organization, so that automatically we have a goodwill in outside the organization also, because goodwill is the real wealth to the organization. Next one is it helps to achieve objectives quickly. If all the people they are well and then their coordination is well, the leadership style is good, and then the managers always cooperative, so that we can easily achieve our objectives. So here the thing is the human behavior. Even though if you take the manager is a human, if you take your top management is a human, and then employee is a human. So what the thing is, how you behave at your point of view towards the organizational objective, so that we can easily achieve our objective quickly. It makes optimum utilization of resources. It makes optimum utilization of resources. It facilitates motivation. Yes, this is very important aspect in OB, because the human behavior may change from one stage to another stage. For example, if you take socialization process in an organization, it it depends on the motivation of the employees, motivation of the employees, so that the change can be happen. It leads to higher efficiency. So if all the people they are very good, and then the behavior of the employees is good, automatically we can lead a higher efficiency here to improve the productivity levels of the individuals as well as the groups. If you want to increase, so it may be a possible one through the motivation and the leadership aspects. It improves relationship in the organization. It is multidisciplinary in the sense that applies different techniques, methods, and theories to evaluate the performances. The organizational behavior is not only a single discipline, it is a multidisciplinary. It has a coordination, or else it is a contribution from political science, or else any other disciplinaries like sociology, psychology, anthropology, economics, and other sciences, so that it is a sense of application of different techniques and methods which we use to evaluate the performance levels of the organizational member, especially the groups and individuals. Next one is limitations of organizational behavior. What are the limitations? So here, first one is behavioral bias. In it further causes dependence, discontentment, indiscipline, and irresponsibility. The first one is we have a difference in behavioral aspects of different persons in your organization. The reason is that they always depend on other person, especially the supervisor or else the manager. They always wait for the directions given by their officials. That is the first limitation. Second one is discontentment. They don't have any contentment towards the organization. Indiscipline. They don't want to maintain a disciplinary system in an organization. They are not punctual. They are not interested towards the work, and they don't have, or they don't want to go for objective fulfillment. They don't want to complete the targets within a period of time, and they don't have any responsibility towards the work. If these people are come under the behavioral bias. So here it is a limitation for your organizational behavior. Next one is law of diminishing returns. Law of diminishing returns. It says that beyond a certain point, there is a decline in output, even after each additional good or positive factor. So for every time we have to check whether your returns are good or not. But here is that the output may be decrease or decline if we add one more or additional good or positive factor. It may be a limitation for organizational people. Third one is unethical practices and manipulation of people. And first thing we know very well, undue credit, undue credit. Next one, the knowledge of motivation and communication acquired can be used to exploit subordinates in an organization by the manipulative managers. Here, the people they really work, but the manager or else any other people they may want to get a undue credit. They want to use exploit subordinates, or else they want to favor their particular persons, those who are very favor to them. So these type of things happen in organization. It is also one of the unethical concern, but it is one of the limitation to organizational behavior. So My presentation is over, and then thank you very much.